You, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilera. Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday, March 19th, 2024 evening meeting of the Washington County Board of Commissioners and Clean Water Services Board of Directors. Ms. Aguilera, could you do us the honors, please?
Most certainly. Washington County Board of Commissioners also meeting as the Board of Directors for Clean Water Services and all other county service district is now meeting in regular session on March 19th, 2024. Commissioner Willie?
Here.
Commissioner Treese?
Here.
Commissioner Rogers?
Here.
Vice Chair Fye?
Present.
And Chair Harrington.
Here. Thank you. We have a few agenda changes that came about since the agenda was first published. Items C8 and C9 and C10, all on the consent agenda, were revised, and the action item F1, has been pulled and will come to us in a future meeting. Next item on the agenda is public communication. Board Clerk, might we have anyone who is signed up to speak with us here in the room or is attending online who would like to speak with us for up to 10 minutes an individual?
No, Madam Chair, we have no one signed up.
2 minutes for a total of 10 minutes. I'm sorry. Thank you. I got a rise out of my colleagues on that one.
Anyone in the room choosing to speak, raise your hand. I don't see any, and not seeing anyone online.
Online, did we give everyone a chance to raise their hand?
No, we didn't. Thank you. Is there anyone online that would like to speak? Please raise your hand. Not seeing anyone. Over to you.
All righty. Thank you. We're getting through this together, as we always do. Next, we have tonight's consent agenda. It consists of 10 different items, 2 sets of minutes from Board of Commissioners meetings, 1 item from Clean Water Services, 1 from Facilities, Fleet, and Parks, 1 from Health and Human Services, 1 from Housing Services, 1 from HR, and Department of Land Use and Transportation. You get tonight's award with 3 items. What are the wishes of the commission?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve tonight's consent agenda. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. Next, we have a very exciting presentation. Commissioner Roy Rogers, well, we all serve on the Board of Directors for Clean Water Services, our world-class premier waste recovery utility that also does surface water management for the entire Tualatin Rivershed. Commissioner Rogers, during his tenure here as a board member for Clean Water Services, has been helping to advise the general managers of Clean Water Services in his role on the board. But in addition, he has given his leadership wisdom and expertise to the industry through the National Association of Clean Water Agencies, also known as NACWA. Recently, they recognized his contribution to the industry and provided to him the National Environmental Achievement Award for Local Public Service to Clean Water Services Board of Director Roy Rogers. So we would like to recognize him this evening, but without further ado, I would like to turn it over to our Chief Executive Officer of Clean Water Services, Ms. Diane Taniguchi-Dennis.
Yes, at the NACWA conference on February 14th, Roy received his award, his national award, and we're just so delighted that he's been a very strong advocate for not only Clean Water Services, but for the industry as a whole. He's always had a voice of leadership and to really think about utilities very different, to turn our business models upside down. So I think it's just been an amazing challenge for the industry, and he's a speaker well-known about clean water services, but also about the environment and public service. So Roy, I want to congratulate you and the entire Clean Water Services team. It's very honored to have you on board.
So Director Rogers, would you like to share any words of wisdom before we actually embarrass you further and ask you to join us in a photograph?
Sure, I can say a couple of things. It is embarrassing. You don't do things because you strive to get any acknowledgement. It's simply because you believe in your heart it's the right thing to do. And I would say to you that I've said this in many groups at many different times. None of us really accomplish much by ourselves. It's always those who are surrounding us. And the team at Clean Water Service is, as you've mentioned, is just excellent. I mean, they're world class. Everybody knows it. And so you all get credibility, every one of us, when we go to some national or international meeting, simply because of who we are associated with, not so much of what we do. But I've been pleased, Diane, to speak at various events across the country. I've been pleased to be a part of maybe looking at things from the other side of the glass, not necessarily the way your industry does, but thank all your staff for all they do. And as I said the night that I received this, I accept it on behalf of our staff, because you're the ones who we should be thanking. You're the ones who really should be cutting the ribbons and giving the speeches, not us. And I'm speaking for myself, the rest of them might not. I think they probably agree that you really, without you, the tireless work that you do behind the scenes, we wouldn't succeed the way we do. So thank you to every employee at Clean Water Service, regardless of what they do. So that's all I gotta say.
Not every elected official across our nation asks strategic questions and encourages staff to think innovatively and to not be constrained by the box of what we do or how we've been doing it, because it's tried and true. Because the future will not be like the today that we're experiencing. So we have to look forward and think forward. And you have helped motivate and inspire people to look beyond. So, directors, any other comments before we go for a photo? Go ahead.
I'd just like to add to that, Roy, your dedication to the concept of clean water services has been over the 40 years of your public service here at the county, and I know it extends even before that. And I think that the fact that you have been so focused on the success of that agency for that entire length of time, this award is nothing in comparison to the huge amount that you give. So I feel very strongly about that, and I'm really pleased that you got the award. I think it would look nice in my house, but congratulations to you. No.
I didn't see that. Any other? Well, directors, would you please join me on the floor for a commemorative photo?
Here, you get to hold it.
No, you get to hold it in the middle.
All right.
We're going to make sure you and him have someone in between you.
I know you told me that.
Yes, Pam showed it to me on your behalf. Are we centered? No, we need to shift this way a little bit. Probably warm. Every moment's a celebration.
Thank you for separating us color-wise.
All righty. Well, thank you for that. Next, we'll move on to public hearings. This evening, we have a public hearing with regard to the adopting the supplemental budget for the current fiscal year's Washington County budget. So we will be holding a public hearing before we take the action on this item. And we have our Chief Financial Officer, Greg Munn, here. And so I would ask you, sir, if there's anything you would like to summarize about this item. I do know that we had the opportunity of in-depth board conversation about this. But the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm glad to be here. We do, as you know, my name's Greg Munn, by the way. I'm serving as the CFO for the county. And as you know, we provide a supplemental opportunity, an opportunity for our departments to adjust their budgets, bring those back to the board for approval 3 times a year. So typically it's in the fall, the spring, and then by the end of the year. So this is our spring supplemental. And I didn't really realize that it was actually on the first day of spring until today. So I wish I could have said we planned that, but I didn't. Okay, so for your consideration today is a supplemental budget adjusting the county's fiscal 23-24 budget. The purpose of the request is to increase the amount of appropriations in the FY 24 budget based on several factors, including new or additional revenue received, projected expenditure increases, and clerical and/or administrative adjustments that weren't known at the budget adoption or during the year at a previous supplemental opportunity. The purpose is also to provide an explanation of that change, including sources of revenue, and then request the board's approval to increase the appropriation levels in the budget. So the total request that's before you tonight is an increase of $125.3 million. This amount is spread across 12 funds and it exists in 18 different requests that's in your packet. Of the 18 items included in the requested supplemental, 9 request an increase in appropriations because of an increase in existing or addition of new revenue totaling $56.3 million. 6 are increases that are funded from a transfer of contingency and are the result of legislative changes, rate increases, or administrative corrections to the budget, and those total $4.2 million. And lastly, 3 of the items are clerical adjustments and or corrective in nature totaling $64.7 million, of which $64.6 million aligns the recognition of supportive housing services funds in the same manner as Metro and other participating governments. It's a large clerical adjustment. Only 1 item requests the use of general fund contingency by requesting to use $95,000 in contingency to fund an increase in payroll expenses due to the 2023 legislature's House Bill 2054, which changed the PERS designation of deputy district attorneys from general service PERS to police and fire PERS. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Munn. I want to compliment the very clear explanation that is provided into our packet as well. I think it really demonstrates our commitment to transparency and openness so that our community members have the opportunity to know the work that we're doing on their behalf. So, thank you. And with that, I'd like to open the public hearing. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak?
We have no one signed up to speak. Is there anyone in the room that would like to speak? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, I will open it up to those online. Anyone online wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Seeing no open hands, over to you.
Thank you very much, Board Clerk. And with that, I'll close the public hearing for this evening and ask for a motion to approve the resolution in order to adopt the supplemental budget for FY 2023-24.
So moved?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, Commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 5-0. Thank you, colleagues. Next, we'll move on to the second public comment period of this evening, and this time I'll get it right. This is an opportunity for members of our community to come and speak to us on any topic they would like for up to 5 minutes an individual. Do we have anyone who wishes to do so?
No, Madam Chair, no one has signed up, and we'll ask here in the room if there's anyone. If there's anyone, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands up, I will open it up to those online to raise your hand if there's anyone wishing to speak. Seeing none, over to you.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to board announcements. Well, everyone, I hope you're ready for the month of April because that's when we have our next set of Board of Commissioners meetings. We're not meeting next week. Have a great spring break to all those families out in our community. Tuesday, April 2nd, we will have our set of 3 meetings. Our work session will start at 9 a.m. We'll pause that, then convene as the Housing Authority of Washington County with the Board of Directors meeting for that at 10. And subsequent to that meeting, we'll have the regular board meeting, generally about 10-15 minutes past the hour, depending upon what's on the agenda. Then we'll reconvene in our work session after that. On Thursday, April 4th, we have our board roundtable starting at 9. The following Tuesday, April 9th, is an all-day work session starting at 9 a.m. Then on Friday of that week, April 12th, we have a special meeting. It will be a joint meeting of the Board of Commissioners and the Washington County Fair Board. That meeting will start at 10:30, and I'm not 100% sure of the location of that meeting, but it's on the Washington County website, washingtoncountyor.gov. On Monday, April 15th, we will have our orientation for the budget committees for Washington County, and that includes the Board of Commissioners. That meeting will be at 6 p.m. On Tuesday, April 16th, we have a work session at 9 a.m. It'll start again after the board meeting at 10. On Tuesday, April 23rd, boy, we're going for the whole month here in one big fell swoop. Tuesday, April 23rd, we have a work session at 2 p.m., board meeting at 6:30 p.m., just like today. And on Monday, April 29th, we have our very first budget committee meeting for all things Washington County budgets. That'll start at 6 p.m. And that's where our county administrative officer, who is also the budget officer for all parts of the Washington County budget, will be presenting her proposed budget to us. So that'll be a great presentation. Thank you. That's it for the month of April, and we're not even done with March. Are there any other board announcements for today? Seeing none, do we have a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
So move.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, Commissioners. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously, 5-0. Good night, everybody.